What's up, everybody? My name is Anthony Walker, and welcome to this special video. I'm going to talk about Monday Night Raw. Okay, I'm going to give you my Raw results and my Raw views and opinions, and then I'm going to obviously put this on the 27th episode of the podcast. So, hopefully, this will all go well. Monday Night Raw was last night. I'm recording this Tuesday morning. Monday Night Raw was last night, Monday night, and it was quite the show, if you will. Now, we all know what happened on SmackDown. Dean Ambrose took the Money in the Bank briefcase and everything and hijacked it, so to speak. And the Authority come out Monday Night Raw to begin it and start running their mouths off and everything. And then Paul Heyman comes out of nowhere and accuses the Authority for sending Seth Rollins down to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase on Brock Lesnar, which you saw. The Authority sent him down. Well, he says the Authority sent him down because Seth Rollins almost cashed it in, as you well see if you watch the Night of Champions again. But Seth Rollins comes out and strongly denies that the Authority had anything to do with what happened in Night of Champions, that it was all his doing. It was all his master plan. It was all, the plan to cash in Money in the Bank was all Seth Rollins' plan. The Authority had nothing to do with it. And then Triple H intimidates Paul Heyman, shakes his hand and walks off, and then Heyman goes. And then the next minute, everybody particularly Seth Rollins, start to call out Dean Ambrose. Obviously, one thing leads to another. They start running their mouths off, and then I think Dean Ambrose calls him out to the back to come and get it. And then the Authority, Stephanie, Triple H, and Seth Rollins leave the ring. And as they're about to leave the ring, Cena's music hits, and out of nowhere, Cena comes down and attempts to beat the living crap out of Seth Rollins. Because as you know, it was Seth Rollins that cost John Cena the World Championship. And then Seth Rollins manages to get away and everything, and that was the end of that. More on that later on. Now, the next match, or the next segment on Raw, was the triple threat match between Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, and Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, a great match, great triple threat match. I absolutely enjoyed it. Back and forth match. One highlight of the match is where Cesaro tries to sunset flip the Miz. Ziggler comes in and grabs Cesaro's legs, goes to slingshot him, but as Cesaro was being slingshotted, his head hits Miz in the proverbial jackpot, so to speak. Down there. Really cool move, and it was I guess you can think for yourselves what happened with the Miz. That was pretty cool. And at the end, Miz goes to jump off the top rope on Cesaro. Cesaro uppercuts him, knocks him clean out. And then as Cesaro's about to pin, he walks right into a super kick from Ziggler, and Ziggler takes advantage and gets the 1-2-3 and retains the title, which was pretty cool. After that, Mizdow and The Miz walk into the Authority's room, complaining that they should have got a one-on-one. Miz should have got a one-on-one match. I don't know, stunt doubles and all that, and figuring Mizdow was speaking for The Miz, running his mouth off. Triple H found it funny, and then proceeds to tell Miz that if you ever come in here shooting your mouth off again, come into the Authority's office shooting your mouth off at me again, your DVD movie career will turn into the unemployment line, so to speak. Saying that Miz would be fired, so to speak. And one thing left to another after that. And then, during all that, Triple H put Damien Mizdow, in a match with Sheamus, which I'll talk about later on. Now, following up from the feud, I won't talk about this much. Following up from the feud with, or the feud that began on Total Divas between Summer Rae and Natalya, Layla faced Rosa Mendez and beat her on Raw. It's pretty hard for Natalya to be a mentor to Rosa when she's having a struggle with her marriage, from what it seems. Rosa was left high and dry against Layla, while Natalie tried to get Tyson Kidd to focus at ringside. The former WWE Tag Team Champions' indifference to his wife's protege ended up costing Rosa the match and everything. I don't know, I think Tyson's jealous that Natalya's getting more attention than he is, from what it seems, but one thing led to another. That was just like to me, that was a yeah whatever match for me. That was nothing that was a nothing match for me, but hey, it was what it was. Rosa got beat by Layla. Now goes to a break, comes back, and Dean Ambrose comes out. And I don't know about you guys, but this was my favourite part of Raw. Dean Ambrose comes out with the Money in the Bank briefcase and a bag in his hands, which I'm guessing with Seth Rollins' gear, or some of his gear or anything, and he was giving it away for free and everything. During that, Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble come out, two referees or officials that they have backstage, tries to come out and convince Dean Ambrose to hand over the briefcase. Didn't work, so they go back and get some security, as well as Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins comes out. Dean Ambrose lets it go. Rollins comes in the ring to collect the briefcase, goes to open the briefcase, and then this green goo just pops out of nowhere and covers Seth Rollins, which was fucking hilarious. This green goo just popped out, kind of like one of them pranks where you go to open it and it just pops out in your face, kind of thing. And everybody started laughing, including Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury on the outside. It was hard not to laugh, man. It was fucking funny. And probably my favourite part of Raw, Dean Ambrose is in the crowd, like, he had that face on him, was like, that laugh face on it, and it was just fucking great. And then after that, go back to the locker room with the Authority. Seth Rollins is pissed, absolutely pissed, out of his mind. And then Triple H proceeds to make a tag team match involving Ambrose and Cena versus Kane and Randy Orton. However, Randy Orton looked very reluctant to do this, because if you saw last week's, he's made it crystal clear that he's sick and tired of the Authority of Seth Rollins starting up crap that them two end up cleaning up, so to speak. Or Randy Orton has to clean up. But either way, that was fucking hilarious. And if you haven't seen Raw, go back and watch it. Go back and watch that segment. That was fucking great. More on Dean Ambrose later on. Now, I want to go into a little bit of a rant here. Bo Dallas and Mark Henry. Now, Mark Henry's still a little bit, feeling the effects of his loss with Rusev. More on Rusev later. And he proceeds to face Bo Dallas, and Bo Dallas actually beat him. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I fucking hate Bo Dallas. Seriously. I really do I can't stand this guy. I mean, this guy really seriously gets on my tits. He's so annoying. He can't wrestle. He's not good. I believe he's an idiot. I mean, he's horrible. And you can't take this guy seriously. I mean, the guy's a former NXT champion, so obviously you'd think he's good, but you can't take this guy fucking seriously when his finishing move was made famous by a diva. And that's not a knock on Trish Stratus, one of the greatest divas of all time. But why would you want to have a finishing move that was made famous by a diva? You name me one male wrestler that's used a finishing move in the past that was made famous by a diva. I mean, this guy's a tool. He really is. And somehow he beats Mark Henry on Raw. However, Renee Young pulls him up backstage, tries to get an interview with him, and Mark Henry comes out from behind and attacks Bo Dallas and proceeds to beat the living crap out of him. And gets him in this and use one of them wheeled things that he had backstage and proceeds to ram it into Bo Dallas on 2 occasions, completely knocking Bo Dallas out. And grabs Bo Dallas by the hand and says, "That's what I do." And that made Bo Dallas beat Mark Henry worth it. Because next time, if Bo Dallas thinks about beating Mark Henry, you might want to let him win. I fucking hate Bo Dallas. God damn it. Thank God for Mark Henry doing what he did. You know, I fucking hate Bo. Brie Bella goes into a 2-on-1 handicap match. Kind of like what Nikki Bella had to go through after Brie quit at Payback for me. But this is Nikki trying to get one over on Brie. It didn't work because Brie beat, it was Cameron and Eva Marie. Again, Total Divas comes into play. For fuck's sake. And Brie gets the victory over Cameron and Eva Marie and then sticks it to Nikki Bella by going, "Yes, yes, 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 yes." And Daniel Bryan's legacy still lives. So, and you could see the crowd doing it as well, which was great. And I know Daniel Bryan was probably watching that at home with a big smile on his face. But in this supposed now feud between the Bella twins, and hopefully this is a proper feud, not a fucking Jerry Springer commercial or Jerry Springer show, like it was a month ago. Brie Bella draws first blood, not literally, but draws first blood in the feud between her and Nikki. So now Slater Gator, which is Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil, beat Los Matadores. And why the match was taking place at ringside, JBL got a nice little visitor at the commentaries booth, Adam Rose and the Bunny. And JBL had that look on his face like, I want to quit my life right now, seriously. One thing led to another during the match. It wasn't like a good tag team match, to be honest. But the Matadores made a mistake, and Slater rose up one of the Matadores to get the victory. 1, 2, 3. To be honest with you, as far as the Matadores is concerned, they should just go back to being Primo and Epico, because that's who they are. But WWE decided to give them a Matadores gimmick. I mean, the reincarnation of El Matador from what Tito Santana used to be, which I'm sure you already know. But they should just go back to being Primo and Epico, if you ask me. But that's my opinion. Titus grabs El Torito and proceeds to beat him up. At least tries to beat him up. And then he sees Adam Rose, goes to take the swipe at Rose. Rose ducks him. Titus goes over the top rope. Slater gets distracted. Los Matadores come in and do a double team on Slater. And then Slater's laid out in the ring. The Bunny goes to the top rope again and does a bunny splash. Now, I told you this last time. The Bunny, from what I've heard, it's not true. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's been confirmed. But the Bunny, from what I've heard, is Prince Devitt. You know, one of WWE's newest signings. I believe that's the Bunny. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if it's been confirmed. but that could be him. But anyway, the bunny goes up on the top rope and does a splash and splashes the bunny splash, if you will, on what I call it, Heath Slater. Need I say more on that? You know, God Almighty. Big Show coming off knocking out Rusev. Rusev comes out and starts talking about what happened on SmackDown, getting knocked out, and calling Big Show a coward. Well, Lana did anyway. Calls Big Show a coward and this, that, and the other. Big Show comes out and interferes. They show the footage of what happened on SmackDown between him and Rusev and the knockout. And then Rusev challenges him, and then Big Show comes running the ring, but Rusev leaves. And then Lana goes back up the aisle. Him and Lana go back up the aisle. But Big Show turned around and sees the Russian flag. And touches the Russian flag, plays with Rusev a little bit, and then pulls it down. Much to the despair of Rusev and Lana. Literally just grabs out of it. It's a big flag. And just pulls the fucking thing down. In one fell swoop. Which obviously pissed off Rusev. And the more, Rusev tried to get back in the ring and that, and then Big Show just flings him back out again. But fuck me, it was great. And I could see Rusev and Big Show having a match at Hell in a Cell. This US versus Russia thing. But if this happens, Rusev rather has got his hands full with the Big Show. Because let's face it, alright, he's beating the world's strongest man. He's beating the world's strongest man. He's beating Jack Swagger. But them two are not on the level of a Big Show. This guy's 7 feet tall, 500 pounds. So he's got his hands full with the Big Show. Now, AJ Lee faces Alicia Fox, and thanks to Paige, again, Alicia Fox beats AJ Lee, thanks to Paige. And Paige proceeds to put the beat down and makes a statement at the end of the match with AJ Lee. And it says the belt and this, that, and the other. Will this feud ever end between these two? I don't know. It'll probably, and if it does end, it'll probably end at Hell in the Cell, October 26th. It's just fucking ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if Paige still does it. I didn't really take any notice, but Paige skipping down at ringside and all that. Please just end this feud. And there's rumours about AJ leaving, so I'm guessing if this match takes place again, AJ versus Paige for the Divas title, I'm guessing, the Divas Championship will change hands again and Paige will become the champion. God almighty. Anyway, Alicia Fox probably has now a title shot thanks to Paige against AJ Lee. Future Divas Championship match. US Champion Sheamus is in action against Damien Sandow, or Damien Mizdow, or whatever the heck you want to call him, or Mr. Stooge. This was just a one-sided match for me. Sheamus beating the crap out of him. Miz tries to get involved, backfires, and Sheamus beats Sandow, as you would expect. And apparently on SmackDown there's going to be a tag team match between the Intercontinental Champion teaming up with the US Champion versus Mizdow and The Miz. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens on that on SmackDown. Tune in to SmackDown this week to find out. SmackDown this week to find out. And on the podcast I'll talk about SmackDown later in the main points. Now, Hogan comes out and once again he addresses the Susan G. Komen partnership with WWE. Apparently I think it's for the third straight year, WWE are teaming up with Susan G. Komen for the breast cancer awareness thing. They did it before, they're doing it again. And Hogan comes out like he's been doing since he's been back in WWE. He promotes things, he promotes WrestleMania, he promotes the Hall of Fame, he's promoted SummerSlam. He's the promotion burial candidate, so to speak. Now, if you can call it that. Jesus Christ. But he comes out and talks. Not much to talk about. He just comes out and addresses the Susan G. Komen Foundation and promotes it and puts it over, so to speak. Now to the main event, which sees John Cena, Dean Ambrose versus Kane and Randy Orton. And I guess considering what happened during the match, it was a good tag team match, by the way. Not the best tag team match I've seen, but it was a good tag team match nonetheless. One thing leads to another, and Dean Ambrose gets Randy Orton in and hits Dirty Deeds on him, goes for the 1-2-3, but out of nowhere, Rollins comes in and all hell breaks loose. And then, since Rollins basically got owned earlier on in the night by Dean Ambrose and John Cena, it was probably only fitting that Seth Rollins gets his own back at the end of the night and curve stomps Dean Ambrose on the Money in the Bank briefcase and takes out Cena. And it leaves with Dean Ambrose lying in the floor, so to speak, lying on the canvas, with Rollins, Orton, and Kane standing tall over this fallen body, and then Raw goes off the air. What will happen next week? I don't know. Tune into SmackDown this Friday, and I'll talk about SmackDown later on in the main points. If you're listening to this on the podcast, episode 27 of the podcast, I'll talk about that later on. But yeah, a pretty good Raw, better than last week's. Once again, Dean Ambrose stealing the show and Dolph Ziggler, and I would give this a 7. I would give this a 7. Yeah, no, 7.5. A 7.5 out of 10. There's been better Raws, but this was pretty good, I thought. All except for the bunny thing and everything and whatever. But 7.5 out of 10, Monday Night Raw. And that's the end of Raw's points and everything. And I just want to bring something up as well to my crew, Sunday Segway and anybody else who listens to the podcast. You heard Jezebeth's interview, right? Jezebeth's interview's up, and you heard that, and you heard it was great. And big shout out to Jezebeth, and hope Jezebeth's watching this as well, because she calls out Colleen Masters on the podcast, and Destiny as well, but mainly calls out Colleen. Colleen heard what you said, Jezebeth, if you're watching this, or Colleen heard what Jezebeth said, and gets in touch with me and says that she didn't particularly appreciate Jezebeth saying what she said on the podcast and that. So what I've done is I'm all about opportunities. I'm all about equal opportunity. And yeah, I've invited Colleen to come on the show and do an interview, as well as give her an opportunity to retaliate on what you said, Jezebeth, if you listen to this, and retaliate on what Jezebeth said about her. So I'm still working on it, but there's an interview coming up very, very soon between me and Colleen. I've still got to work on the date and, what to do and all that, but she seems pretty up for it, and she's cool with it, so look out for that on the podcast very, very soon. Colleen Masters interview. Very, very soon. She's followed me on Twitter and that, and Facebook, and I'll promote her when we get it all sorted out and that, so make sure you check that out. If you haven't checked out the Jezebeth interview, please check it out. I'll leave a link in the description underneath. Please check it out, because it's a very good interview, and I had a blast doing it, and I would imagine I'll have a blast with the Colleen one as well coming up. So Colleen, thank you for agreeing to it. Whenever you're ready to do it, set the time, set the place, and we'll take care of that business. I can't wait to do it. But to be honest with you, I'm kind of grinning about it because I think I've started something between these two. Although it was Jezebel that called you out, I wasn't even expecting that, but she did it anyway. And Colleen obviously didn't particularly appreciate it, like I said, and Colleen's going to retaliate, and I've given her the opportunity to come on the show and retaliate and do an interview and say her piece, and give it even playing field, because that's what I'm about on the podcast. That's what I'm all about on the podcast as well. I'm all about even playing fields. I'm all about pipe bombs, wrestling matters. I'm all about being controversial. Because Stone Cold Steve Austin's controversial. They promoted that on Raw. I think Steve Austin's show episode goes out today with him and DDP. I think they promoted it as controversial. That's what I want to be like. Okay? My Wrestling Matters podcast is not PG. I don't cater to kids. If kids somehow want to listen to it, hey, I'm all for that. I don't care about that. That's up to them. I don't care who listens to it, quite frankly, as long as people are listening to it. But, yeah. That's how my show rolls, ladies and gentlemen. Controversial. And I'm all about even opportunities as well. So if someone gets slagged off, that person who got slagged off, I'm all about, giving that person an opportunity to come on the show. So, and say the piece as well. Even playing field. Even playing field. And if Jezebel wants to respond to what Colleen may say, hey, Jezebel's coming back on the show anyway soon, so she's going to get a wish. Anyway, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you look out for them. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out episode 26 of the podcast. It is up. It is running. It's on YouTube, Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, iTunes. Soon to be on Mixcloud as well, once I get Mixcloud up and running. I'm promoting a few things as well, but soon to be on Mixcloud as well, so make sure you check that out. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm Anthony Walker, that H, that E, to the A, to that beautiful D, if D's are beautiful. Until next time, peace out.